Good morning. This is Father Stephen Kelly from St. John's Church in Detroit. We're continuing our series of daily morning meditations, where we generally look at one or another of the lessons that are assigned for morning or evening prayer, what is known as the daily office lectionary. And I thought for this Saturday morning we would jump into the book Exodus. And we do jump ahead in chapter 2. We cover in a short 22 verses a very large swath of the story of Moses. Basically, we get a nice chapter full of background information. In that one chapter, we hear that the Egyptians who have enslaved the Israelites have ordered that all the male children should be put to death. But Moses' mother, of course, has compassion. She obviously, no mother wants to kill her own child or see her child killed. She puts him in a basket and leaves him down by the river. And who discovers him by God's providence but the Pharaoh's daughter. And then the Pharaoh's daughter has compassion on this child. She knows it's a Hebrew child because he's been circumcised. And so she decides that she would like to raise this child as her own. And so she says, we need to find a Hebrew woman that will be able to nurse it. Well, Moses' mother's sister, his aunt, is down there and is the one that Pharaoh's daughter asks if he could find somebody to nurse it. So Moses ends up being nursed and cared for by his own mother for a period of time, and then is turned over to Pharaoh's daughter. Kind of a little bit like how Samuel was raised by his mother and then given to the priest for the service. He grows up in Pharaoh's house, grows up an important person. And then we hear that, just as Joseph had, so again, we're seeing some parallels, but it turns kind of ugly compared to the end for Joseph, and that is Moses is out in the field and he sees an Egyptian beating a fellow Egyptian, because he's considered an Egyptian, killing one of the Hebrews, or beating him, and so Moses kills him. And when one of the Hebrews says, who are you to be judge over us? He suddenly becomes fearful. And when Pharaoh finds out, Pharaoh wants to kill him. And so Pharaoh ends up sending him, or Moses ends up fleeing down to Midian. And then he, at a well, helps the daughters of the priest in Midian with drawing water and keeps the shepherds from shooing them away. And the priest gives him his first wife, Zipporah. So anyway, so in 22 short verses, we get the story of Moses as a foundation. Now, ultimately, God will call Moses out of Midian and call him into service to be his, really his primary prophet for the people in order to bring them out of slavery, out of bondage, in slavery, and bring them back into what will be their promised land. Moses is such a vital, important person in the story of the people of the Jews, and a part of the whole background for the salvation story for us as members of the New Covenant. Moses will be the one to whom the law is given. Right? It'll be up on Mount Sinai that Moses will receive the law. And so the codification of what that relationship, which began with Abraham, remember, Abraham and God spoke, and God began this covenant, this original covenant with Abraham and his seed, so Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Now we've gone through some generations, and we've gone from Jacob's son Joseph, we've gone through all of them being in Egypt, to now they are perfectly enslaved, unfortunately, in Egypt, and God is doing his next great thing with them, and that is he's going to bring them freedom and bring them into the wilderness to prepare them to be the people who live in that promised land. So it does get exciting. Speaking of exciting, it is Saturday, and this is our last weekend, God willing, nothing changes. This is our last weekend of our limitations to have services that are 9 people plus the priest. And so there is a sign-up list online. The sign-up list is a clickable link at stjohnsdetroit.org. And so we will be having today, Saturday, services at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and 5 o'clock, as we've had before. And I think there's a couple spaces at the 5 o'clock, maybe 1 or 2 at the 3 o'clock service available. And then on Sunday, we have 7:30 morning prayer, 8 o'clock Holy Communion, 9 o'clock Holy Communion, 10 o'clock Holy Communion, 11:30 Holy Communion, 12:30 Holy Communion, and then evening prayer at 5 o'clock on Sunday. And in addition to evening prayer, we'll have the opportunity to receive communion if you have not received communion in the morning. And I say that because, morning prayer or evening prayer on Sundays in the Anglican tradition is a service that people come to in addition to their morning worship. The idea is to keep the entire Sabbath day, the entire Lord's Day in this case, holy. And one of the ways we can do that is to worship in the morning at St. John's, come to church, receive your Holy Communion, and then come back in the afternoon, end the day with the same particular grace that you did in the morning and then by praying evening prayer. The service of evening prayer right now, because we're not singing at that service, is about 25 minutes long. So we're not asking for a big, long commitment, but it's a nice opportunity to get back into church and get back into prayer and to end your day in the same way that you began your day. And I hope that you have a wonderful Saturday. May God bless you.